Okay, so I was going to take a look at sort of extending this section and beefing it up, but really what I want to do is start mixing my track and sort of getting all the levels of things a bit tighter and sort of getting a bit more energy into the drums. Just especially for this last section, I want to sort of have it sort of a bit more pumping than it is. It sort of drops down. Let's turn that down a bit. In that section, the drums are just a wee bit limp sounding. And the kick's maybe just a wee bit too much sort of bass and stuff on it. So I want to tighten the kick up. I want to retain the bass, but it's just sort of overpowering everything a bit too much. So I'm just going to actually shorten the kick. We'll have to remember to do that for each block. And then I'm going to go in. We can actually control the bass using the sustain on the kick. So we're still retaining the bass, but we're just sort of tightening it up a bit. One thing that's really been bothering me is this ride cymbal in the drums, so we'll just take it out. And again, the hats and stuff just aren't really quite gelling, so that sound there is just a bit weak, so we'll find something a bit nicer. That's a bit better there. Tighten that up even more. And there's those skips, and I'll just sort of put them throughout just to give a bit more energy. And I'll just make sure our swing's on. Oh, dragged it onto the wrong thing. And we'll focus just on this area here, and then we can copy it across to all the other sections. And we've also got these sort of tacky loops. Going to groove them up as well, just if they're not already. And what I'm actually going to do is duplicate this groove and add it to all the drums, and we'll just add a bit more groove to it. So sort of the rest of our track, our synths and their stuff, are going to be using the first groove, and then we'll add a bit more swing to the drum grooves. Let me just check. And where have our kicks gone? I'll just have a look for that. So we've got this ride still going. And in this last section, we'll maybe have it sort of on the beat, get a bit more energy. And that other hi-hat's bothering me a bit as well. And I'm not 100% happy with the reverb either, so I'll play with it. And I'll turn the ER gain down and just open up the other one. Sounds a bit nicer now. And I'm also going to play with these tech loops a bit. And we'll add a bit of sidechain compression on there. So fire compressor on. So that's all sounding a lot nicer. Just drop down the swing a tiny bit. And I'm going to use a bit of EQ on the side chain. Just so we're only getting sort of first part of the kick. And I'll just put a bit of a auto filter on there as well, cut out some of those lower end stuff. Now we've got a bit more of a rolling groove. And we'll grab some of these, and including our kick, and drag it back to the start and just see how it gels in at the start as well then. The other thing to do when you sort of get to the mixing phase is you can drag your mixer out, just give you a bit more room to fine tune levels. And I'm going to work with this tom as well. Get a bit of sidechain compression on it so it's not fighting with a kick. We can use the same one we have on the hi-hats, or hi-hat loop. And we have this tom that's not in this part, but is in this part. So I'm going to grab this and just make sure it's in this part as well. And then we'll fine tune it a bit, make it a bit more interesting. Give it a bit more mid-range, and then I'm going to add a simple delay and create a sort of stereo effect. And we'll give it a bit more upper mid, just so it cuts through a bit better. Put it before the delay. Going to tighten this up very slightly. So those drums are sounding much better now, and we can sort of copy them across to all the rest of the track. And I'll just give us a bit more scope in terms of dropping things in and out. Make sure we copy these across. And I'm going to get rid of these ones here. Yeah, that sounded pretty good. Just raise the kick up a tiny bit. Yeah, it sounded much better. And if you remember earlier, we did sort of two chains. One had a compressor on it, one didn't. So I'm just bringing the crush sound up a wee bit more. And I'm going to add the same sidechain compressor onto the bass as well, just so it's not fighting with the kick. And that whole sort of bottom end rhythm section is really starting to work well now. We've got it sort of more beefy. Sort of the kick just sort of compressed everything a wee bit more, or brought up that compressed sort of group that we were working on. It's all sounding nice. And just adding a bit more compression on that top band. I'm just going to bring the ride down, and I think that should be it. And I'll maybe make that ride really stereo as well. I think we've got a bit of stereo on it already, do we? Yeah, it's already as wide as it'll go, pretty much. Cool. That's all our drums pretty much sorted for the mix. In the next video, we'll work on the rest of the sounds and just sort of getting them up to the same sort of level.